Hello and welcome to Exam Study. Today we will discuss about the historical background of the that led to the foundation of the Constitution. So, as we all know, Britishers came as traders in India in 1600. They take some rights to establish factory from the Mughal rulers, and in 1757 they won Battle of Plassey, and after that they acquired the region of Bengal under their rule. So after this Battle of Buxar, whose about which I have also made a video, in 1756, after 1764 they started acquiring the Indian territories. So after that they they thought there is a need to for some acts which led to the foundation of the administration in India. So for that they made some acts that are divided into two major headings. Means one act was the under company rule. Company rule was 1773 to 1858, and one was made from the crown rule. Crown rule, whose time period was from 1858 to 1947 until India achieves freedom. So these were the two main headings under which they made some acts. So we will be studying about the acts that were made during the company rule, that is from 1773 to 1858. The first act that was made by the Britishers were the Regulating Act of 1773. This was the first act, very important act, because it led to the foundation of central administration in India. And what are the features of this act? Features were the governor of Bengal. There was a governor of Bengal. So by this act they made that governor of Bengal as the Governor General of Bengal. The major province under the British time was Madras, Calcutta, and Madras. Bengal was a rich province at that time. So they designated the governor of Bengal as the Governor General of Bengal, and also created an executive council to assist him. So now Warren Hastings was the first Governor General that was made. So Warren Hastings was the first Governor General. So this was the Bombay, the governors of Bombay, and Madras were made subordinate to him, means all the powers, administrative powers, were vested in the Governor General of Bengal. The next point, provided for the establishment of Supreme Court in Calcutta with the Chief Justice. And who was the first Chief Justice in the Supreme Court? Eliza Hempe. This was asked in Uttarakhand PCS in 2012, whose paper was in 2014, conducted in 2014. So Eliza MP was the first Chief Justice. Next feature was strengthen the council, strengthen the control of British government over the company. This was one of the other feature of the act, but there were some mistakes in this act. To rectify those mistakes, they come up with another act in 1781 that was known as Amending Act of 1781. This is also known as Act of Settlement. Features were it exempted, means I will tell you, the Governor General and the council from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Also, it excluded revenue matters from the jurisdiction of Supreme Court. Empowered the Governor General in Council to frame regulations for provincial courts and councils. So these were the features of the amending act of 1781. It was passed to rectify the mistakes that were done in the act of 1773. After 3 years, in 1784, they came up with another act that known as Pitt's India Act, and the year was 1784. Distinguish between commercial and political functions of the company. So this was done in the Pitt's India Act of 1784. So this is a question allowed the court of directors to manage the commercial affairs. So now the territories in India of Britishers were known as British possessions in India. This was done for the first time when the territories controlled by the Britishers were known as the British possessions in India. After that, the Act of 1786 was passed. It was a very brief act, and the reason was Lord Cornwallis. You all have heard about, may have heard about Lord Cornwallis. So in 1786, Lord Cornwallis was made the Governor General of Bengal. Governor General of Bengal. He put two conditions to accept the post. What were those conditions? Should be given extra power to override the decisions of his council in special cases. his counsel in special cases. This was his first demand. After that, second demand was that he would be commander in chief. These were the two demands of Lord Cornwallis. So, basically, the main motive of 17 Act of 1786 was to make to make way for both the provision laid by Lord Cornwallis. After that, they passed an act known as Charter Act of 1793. This is the fourth act. So इसके फीचर्स जो थे, it extended the overriding powers given to Lord Cornwallis for all future गवर्नर जनरल्स, आगे के जितने भी गवर्नर जनरल्स होंगे, दे विल ऑल्सो हैव अ पावर टू ओवरराइड द डिसीजंस ऑफ देयर काउंसिल इन स्पेशल केसेस. So this was one feature of that. Another gave more power to Governor General. See, the Governor of Bengal was made the Governor General of Bengal. However, the governors of subordinate presidency, that is the presidency of Bombay and Madras, they were controlled by the Governor General of Bengal. Number 3, extended the monopoly. Monopoly means when only there is one competitor in the market, the monopoly of the company in India for a period of 20 years. After that, laid down members of the board of control and their staff. So these were the features of the Charter Act of 1793. After that, another act was passed, that was known as Charter Act was also the Charter Act of 1813. What was the Charter Act of 1813? There was there were some features of the act. It abolished trade monopoly in India. Means the Indian trade was thrown to open to all British merchants. This was the one feature. Another feature was asserted the sovereignty of the British Crown, and also allowed Christian missionaries. This was the Act of 1813. Earlier, they were not allowed to come to India for enlightening people. Enlightening. The purpose was enlightening people. So this was there were the features of the Charter Act of 1813. Also, as per the Charter Act of 1813, Western education was the provided, spreaded all over the country. So provided for the spread of Western education and authorizes the local governments in India to collect taxes. So these were the features of Charter Act of 1813. 20 years later, a new act was enacted that was known as Charter Act of 1833. This was enacted 20 years later. It made Governor General of Bengal as the Governor General of India, and the name of the first Governor General of India was William Bentinck. Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. Okay. So the post of Governor General of Bengal was promoted. There was a promotion for Governor General of Bengal. However, this act deprived the Governor of Bombay and Madras of their legislative powers. Ended the activities of East India Company as a commercial body, and Charter Act of 1833 attempted to introduce open competition for selection of civil servants. This charter also stated that India should not be debarred from holding any place, office, or an employment under the company. So after that, another act was passed in 1853 after a period of, so that was again Charter Act of 1853, period of 20 years. What were the features? So this was the last series of act under the first thing, that is, it is the company rule. 1773 to 1858 was the time period, and this act of 1853 was the last in this series of first part. So what were the features? It separated the legislative and executive function of Governor General. Now Governor General is of not Bengal, it is of India. Introduced an open competition for the selection of civil servants. Extended the company's rule as in previous act there was a specific time period mentioned, but in this only the company rule was extended, no time period was mentioned. And for the first time local represent in legislative council. So these were the features of Charter Act of 1853. So these were the acts under the company rule. So how many acts were made under the company rule? It was the Act of 1773, 1781, 84. It's in the Act 1784, then Act of 1786, 1793, 1813, 20, after 20 years 1833, and after 20 years 1853. So these were the acts. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.